Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 14 of our Supersize You annual challenge. Today we are hopping into our soap framework. Got my little bars of soap handy. It's a process and a framework I started using during the pandemic in 2020. I needed a way to get up and go and keep moving forward. And so I sat down one day and I said, okay, what do I do when things change massively and drastically, literally overnight? And I want to keep moving forward. And I went through and realized, well, this is my 4-step process for dealing with any challenge or change. I've already had the process. I was already using it. I just never formalized it. And by formalizing it, it became my most powerful tool from that moment on. Why? Because I use it automatically now. I've used it thousands and thousands, probably tens of thousands of times already in my life. And that means it got installed in my subconscious. And by doing that, by having it just be a tool that comes up automatically for me and filters the things that I'm facing in life, I face a lot fewer challenges because many of them get handled automatically. Just like our subconscious is capable of keeping our bodies going, blinking our eyes, helping us breathe without us having to consciously remember it, we can install habits and processes and systems that our brain and our body will automatically process and use in that way too. And the soul framework is one of those processes I've done this with. I've done it literally with a lot of them, but especially with respect to my health and reminders and things like that. You know, everybody sets reminders on their phone. Guess what? You can just program your subconscious to remind you things automatically. If you've ever heard of the experiment where they found that you can actually tell yourself what time you're going to wake up every morning without using an alarm clock. And of course, when I first heard that, I'm like, I don't believe that. And I did it, and I absolutely positively found that we can do that. We just have to believe that we can. So what is step 1 of the SOAP framework? Step 1 of the SOAP framework, S stands for story. What do we mean by story? Well, in order to create what we want or solve a problem or a challenge, we have to first know what is the current story? What is the current situation? What's really going on? And we need to sometimes filter through all the symptoms of what's going on to get to the root cause of what's going on and make sure that we're solving the root cause of a challenge or problem, not just the surface thing. Sometimes there's symptoms, just like when we have an illness, that you need to address immediately. But if you're just masking the symptoms, and I believe our medical profession has done this for decades, using one thing to mask the symptoms often creates side effects and challenges that we didn't expect. But if we get down to the root cause, it's like finding that big domino. You solve that one root cause thing, and all of a sudden, all kinds of things that you didn't even realize were happening fall into place. And that's why I think it's critical that we first identify where are we right now. And then secondly, I call that the C, or our current story. And then to D, our desired story. What is it that we want? If this were the ideal situation, the thing that we're talking about dealing with today, and I'll share mine in a minute, what would that look like? Because that creates the vision of what we want. That's what we're going to actually focus on throughout the process, not the problem and the challenge. Once we know the root cause, solutions are easy. That's the next step of the process, is brainstorming solutions, of course. So today, all we're doing is, yesterday, hopefully you decided on what thing you're going to apply the SOAP framework to. And today, we're going to create our C story and our D story, our current situation, our current story, and our desired story. And you can just, I didn't think of a tool today to share for this. You can just write a paragraph or a page or 10 pages, whatever is appropriate for you. Sometimes just writing down what the current situation is helps us to see it more clearly and realize, oh my gosh, I have way more control over this than I thought that I did. So write down the current story, write down the desired story, and then put done in the comments below. If you want to share something about the experience of identifying those two stories, that would be awesome, but not mandatory, right? I say we take every tool we ever are exposed to, we test it out, we tweak it, we make it our own. And if it's something that we can use, we use it. If it's something that we might use later, we tuck it away in our subconscious and we use it when we need it. That's how I started out with this, was I just would use it when I needed it on a conscious level. And pretty soon it just became a habit. And now it's ingrained in my being, I think. Any questions about this? All you have to do is ask. Well, let's go out, make an amazing day. And I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow with the O in our SOAP framework.